Hi, this is Zach May with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Friday the 20th of June. Starting off with the FTSE 100, where the message of the market finding support at 8,800 has worked 2 days in a row. The low yesterday, or the low today rather, 87.91, the low yesterday around the same level, and above that on an end of day close basis, or above 8,800. Still looking for a break to new highs through the old March resistance 89.08 and up to as high as 90.20, presumably by the end of next month. RSI bouncing above neutral 50, as it's actually been above neutral 50 since the end of April, which is quite an achievement and shows that this is still a strong situation. 50 and 200 day lines rising in parallel, which is equivalent to a golden cross. You can see the 50-day line could not be rising faster than it is at the moment. Moving along to the DAX, and here it's been on the back foot of late. The expected test of the 50-day moving average came yesterday, and it leaves the market, though, still below the old March peak, 23,500. So really need to see an end-of-day close back above that to get rid of the possibility that we're going to go lower and maybe fill the gap down to 22,500. But at least while we're above that 50-day line, looking for attempts at rallies through 23,500 and beyond. Onto the Dow, which has been confused, let's say, over the recent past. You can see that we're still in a situation where this market is within a rising trend channel, just about 42,000 or so at the floor of that channel, the red line there. And above that, we're looking for a break of 43,000, hopefully by the end of this month. On the downside, though, a bit like the Bitcoin situation, we still have to factor in that we might have to test that 50-day line at 41,300, and has to be admitted with the RSI below neutral 50 now. Fader at that level does suggest that we might have to have a 50-day test before any fresh move to the upside. On to Bitcoin, where you would expect the way that everyone and their mother is buying Bitcoin for treasury, we should see this market much higher than it is, but it's only around the 50-day line there, around the 103 level. Above that, looking for a resistance line there from last month to break at 109, and then after that, hoping for best case scenario target as high as 125,000 by the end of July. RSI remaining above neutral 50, so confident that we will have another attempt at clearing that May resistance line. On the downside, the worst we're expecting is the initial May resistance and the area of the 200-day moving average, the black line there, towards 97,000. On to gold, and here the struggle has been with regard to the 3,400 level, which seems to be a sticky problem. Here you can see that still well below that, looking for an end-of-day close now, through the second end-of-day close through that in the recent past, to give this market the trajectory of a rally towards the top of the channel there from March as high as 3,800 by the end of next month. Worst case on the downside, seen it as being the 50-day line at the moment at 33.17. Moving on to the stocks, and it's still Bitcoin Treasury dominated. You can see Bluebird Merchant Ventures, where the first target there was around the 0.8 level, and the second target was towards 1.05. Obviously, you can see that has been hit right on the nose. So full marks on the charting front there. While we're above the old target there, 0.8, looking for not only a retest of the best levels of the day, 105, but a move up to as high as 1.8, 1.9 pence by the end of next month. So probably the upper parallel of the triangle there, the red triangle line, up towards the 1.9 to 2 pence level by the end of next month, while we're above 0.8. Moving on to Blue Star, which had a little flurry at the turn of the month. It's having another flurry now, a pretty strong one too. We are above the old resistance there from the beginning of the year at 14 pence, and while we're above that, looking for a move to that red resistance line target as high as 26 pence by the end of this month, probably actually the end of next week, I suppose. Moving along to the next situation, which is Cell AI, if I get the right ticker code, and here you can see that we're having a second go at the upside again. That the old target there at 0.61 has now become support, or the support area, we're looking for a retest of 0.9 pence, hopefully, in coming days. On to Coinsilium, which is has rallied well and is also looking firm at the better levels. Here you can see that we are actually already going into a bull flag situation, and the best case scenario target here, the best of the best, was seen as being 50 or 51 pence. So looking for that hopefully over the rest of June, and expecting that while we're above the latest support area around 35. So above 35, looking for 50 on Coinsilium. Another stock which has blown the doors off on the targets, many targets, has been Empire Metals, and here you can see the various spoke targets that we had: 12p, 16, and then 22, 23, and above 22, looking for the upper parallel of that red resistance line projection from April last year, or April 2022, heading as high as 34 pence, and looking for that perhaps as soon as the end of next month. But the key here, staying above 22 pence. On to Fragrant Prosperity, where there was a sign that the shares were starting to get ready for another move to the upside, and here, after the end of the day closes above the sharply rising 50-day line, we are near the 50-day line now, so probably need to have sustained price action back above 1.2 to then predict that we could get up to 1.8 pence in the top of that falling trend channel. On to Orchard, which I think I said before was not the sort of company I normally look at, but as you can see, once again the red line broken, so the second target there broken at 57 pence. Above that we're looking for a late 2020 resistance line projection as high as 80 pence by the end of next month, so very much back in play. We've got Priority One next, which is all Bitcoined up and Bitcoin strategied up, and just generally in that sort of space. Here we have just avoided hitting that top of that falling trend channel at 7 pence. Hopefully we'll do that in coming days. Next level up would be up to the 200-day line at 8 pence. Hopefully that can happen over the course of the rest of June. We haven't been above the 200-day line since the company came to market at the end of last year, and one would thought there's enough now there for a retest of that 200-day line. On to Smarter Web, the stock of the year, and here you can see the shares enjoying themselves within that rising trend channel from last month. I suppose I can get rid of a lot of these former broken target lines, because we're basically in a rising trend channel which is going to be revealed now. So from the resistance line projection there from the end of last month, progress within a rising trend channel, now currently heading up to £5. Support notionally at the uptrend line up here at £3, but near term probably looking for support really to be on the right side of £4 rather, and above £4 looking for £5 by the end of next month on that situation. Good to see Tiger revive itself as well. Here we touched the initial target there, which did it twice at around 0.26. Next level up is the red resistance line there, which I've drawn from a while back in 2023. That's heading for 0.35, and we're looking for that by the end of next month. So the shares, after a unfilled gap to the upside during the week, finally on their way. You can see that also we've got the 50 and 200-day lines rising, so it's the run up to Golden Cross, and that tends to be the strongest part of the cycle. So hopefully 0.35 by the end of next month or much sooner. On to Vault, which it's probably the charting situation I like the most at the moment, just because, as I said, I think yesterday, above 0.06 there was nothing on the chart until the basically the 0.16 area. So that's what looks like what we're getting at the moment. We've had an unfilled gap to the upside today, and looking for 0.15 or 0.16 by the end of next month, while we're above the 0.06 level. The other point to note yet again is that we've got the 50 and 200-day lines rising for a Golden Cross, which should be delivered next week. Moving along to Vinanz, which had been a little quiet of late. Obviously we had the pullback from January to last month, but looks like we're very much on our way again, and the name of the game now is to try and work out how high the shares can go. At this stage probably looking for the upper parallel of the line I'm going to draw at the moment, which is, or the channel I'm drawing at the moment, which should be towards at least the 27 pence level, hopefully in coming days. Ideally we stay above resistance on the way down at 20, so above 20, looking for a minimum of 27 pence. Finishing off with something which is not in the Bitcoin space, at least not yet, Valirx, and here just the beginnings of a broadening triangle base. We've had an unfilled gap to the upside, and ideally we stay above post-March resistance there at 0.63, above that. Looking for up to 1.2 pence by the end of next month, although with a company like this, one was always fearful of fundraisers, this, that and the other. But at least on a technical basis, 1.2 pence is possible while we're above the old resistance there at 0.64. That's it for me today. More updates over the weekend.